Welcome everybody to the 2022 Mazda CX9. This is the largest vehicle they make. This is a proper seven-seater from Mazda, and there's lots of fascinating, intriguing things I find about this vehicle. Let's see how this vehicle is. Front end of the CX9 carries the same Mazda design theme. They've been doing it so well for every car. The big grille, sleek headlights, though this has some changes to give it that more premium look because this is their most luxurious offering ever. So it has lots of chrome, same chrome in the other parts of the car, but more on that later. But again, lots of chrome in the grille, lots of chrome slats in the middle, and a very fascinating little touch. The chrome actually has surround that have LED. So at night there is light in the grill as well. A little small, Easter egg by Mazda for this car. Otherwise, you don't see such things anymore. Again, simplistic, but they've pulled it off really well. Ride profile of the Mazda CX-9 again carries the same theme. Very less going on, but Mazda's added some luxurious feel-good factors like chrome. I don't know why they did that because personally I'm not a big fan, especially that chrome strip on the rear cladding, on the side cladding. I think that looks like an afterthought. There is some more chrome lines on the window, but again, it's a very clean profile. In fact, it might actually look a bit like an elongated CX-5, which is not a bad thing because it's a good-looking family design theme they have going on. And again, the mirrors, they are pretty big and they are function as well. The alloy wheels are 20-inch rims, which look really good, especially in this gunmetal shade. It might look better with a contrasting paint shade. So in this combination, it kind of merges in. So I wish that maybe it was silver for this shade, or the usual Mazda color they have, red, before the press cars. I think the gray rims would have looked it would have looked even better with the red paint. Again, not much going on, but it just works. Mazda just knows how to, implement the simplistic design theme very well. Rear of the Mazda CX-9 again is a very simplistic theme that Mazda employs very well. Very but very thick lines of chrome running at two parts of the rear. One is on the tailgate, which is very prominent, and the other is at the bottom of the bumper. Twin tailpipes because this is the 2.5 turbo engine, so it comes standard, and a very thick cladding on the bottom of the bumper to protect it. If you take it to the rough stuff. Some cuts increase in the tailgate, but again, very, very minimalistic, very sleek taillights as well. In fact, you'd be very hard pressed to find the reverse lights. That's how small it is on the taillight. Inside the Mazda CX-9, and again, it's a very simplistic theme, but it works well. There's a very big screen. Sadly, it's not touchscreen. I mean, I wish it was at this price point, but it's got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which is sufficient. You've got nice AC vents all around, so it's got good coverage. You've got usage of aluminum, you've got usage of gloss black, you've got usage of wood, and you have usage of leather. Again, a good mix of materials in here, and everything you touch and feel feels very, very premium, which is very important. It might feel a little dated, but in looks, but in functionality, this interior works really well. You've got all buttons to control this rotary knob to control the screen. Initially, it might take some getting used to, but once you do get used to it, it's very easy to use. A nice volume knob as well. And again, it's just a nice vibe. These brown interiors, again, I like it, but I'm not a big fan of the white, the piping on the seats. It looks a bit of an afterthought. I like the cross stitching, but this white piping, I'm not a very big fan of. The seats themselves are very comfortable. We have just taken, a 1,200 kilometer road trip, and I could keep on driving this car, because it's just so comfortable. The steering is, again, a very typical Mazda fare. You've got all the buttons, you've got paddle shifters, you've got the cruise control, and the volume knob, and the big Mazda center logo. Again, very nice to hold the grips and good. That's got thumb contours as well. And again, I'm personally, I like the fact that Mazda has taken function over form, and it works really well with this car. I'm in the rear of the Mazda CX-9. As you can see, this is the six-seater configuration. The top of the line signature only comes in this configuration. You cannot get the bench seat, which is a bit of a downer. Not everybody would like this six-seater. Plus, this is fixed. This does not move. This does not do anything. So, for the rear passengers, the only way to get in and out is to fold the seat. You can't actually just walk through, which is again a downer. I mean, this should have been movable if not. But you do have ample storage when you open it. You've got heated seats, cup holders, and the seats themselves are actually pretty comfy. The backrest is just at a perfect incline, though it is adjustable, but the cushioning is perfect. Under thigh support is good, and legroom is very good for my driving position. You do have seat back pockets. You've got AC vents with temperature control and everything. It's a good place to be, but it feels a little dark. The windows are very big, but it feels a little bit dark because of the brown interior and the black pillars. There's no panoramic sunroof. The sunroof is only for the front end. I wish if it had a panoramic sunroof, it would lend a lot more light in, would be much more airy, much more comfortable for the passenger, especially for the third row as well, because the third row space is a little tight. I mean, it would be pretty funny if I try to get in there. But for kids, it's sufficient. But for adults, I would not recommend going the third row. It's got charging ports in the third row as well, so the amenities are there. Charging ports for the second row inside here as well. And again, everything you touch and feel has the touch aluminum leather. It feels good. One bonus that Mazda's provided because it's a top line signature is you have blinds, which is I feel is a very very underrated feature that more cars should have in the segment today. As you can see, I'm behind the wheel of the Mazda CX9. So let's get the numbers out of the way. This is the 2.5-liter turbocharged engine that produces 250 horsepower at the premium fuel, and at the basic fuel 89 octane it produces 230 horsepower. For a car of this size, it weighs about 1.8 tons, which is just decent. It's a little bit on the heavier side, but again, it carries seven people, so it's sufficient. The engine does a good job of hauling this weight really well, especially if this car is fully loaded, which I did. My car was full of, seven people with luggage, and it did well on the highways. Overtaking was a breeze, and I didn't even put it into sport mode, only normal mode. It did really, really well. The ride is a little on the stiff, which is typical Mazda. You do feel the bumps once in a while, filtering in, but nothing that makes it overly uncomfortable. But again, the upside of that stiff suspension is that you can have really good fun while driving this car. I know it's not something you would associate with such a big, seven-seater MPV, but this car is genuinely fun to drive around the corners. And trust me, I cannot emphasize enough that this is probably the most fun you can have carrying seven people at one time. Honestly, it's just a breeze. We are in Mont Tremblant. It's got some great, curvy roads, and I've just had a blast with this car around the twisties on this turn. And even the engine is just so punchy. You put it into sport mode, it downshifts a bit, and then you can use the paddles. And look at that pull. Wow. Pulls well. Pulls well. Never shortage of power. Obviously, when it's full load, it does feel a little bit slower, but I mean, honestly, I'm a big fan. The one thing I would say is with the weight, the brake pedal feel isn't the best. The car will stop, but it's a little wooden, so you're not sure at times how much brake pedal to actually apply uh, to make sure that the car stops well. Conclusion then, the Mazda CX9. It's Mazda's most luxurious and largest offering in the market. It's a true seven-seater, but the last row is suitable for kids, and the boot with all three rows up isn't the most ideal. Perhaps a few backpacks at best. But for the middle row and the front row, the comfort is really good, and Mazda's always been about driving dynamics. And this car, being such a big car, is so much fun to drive. Honestly, on these roads here in Mont Tremblant, I probably wouldn't have chosen any other car aside from this one. I've come with a big group of friends, and they were all comfortable inside, and I've had fun driving this car as well. It's a win-win for everyone. And at around 55 to $60,000 for this top of the line signature variant, I think it's well priced as well compared to its rivals that it goes up against. Totally a commendable job by Mazda.